when we say, here's what I'm going to do. There's that little nagging voice that sits inside of us that kind of makes fun or mocks or doesn't believe that we can really do what we say we want to do. And that little voice is really the aspect of fear that I'm getting at. Today we're going to be talking about chakras again, and this time we're going to be talking about the second chakra, which is located in between the base of the spine and the navel center. So about halfway in between there is the second chakra. So I'll just really briefly go over what the chakras are again, and I know you're probably getting a repeat of this with each of the chakra videos, but it just helps to recall that the chakras are the 7 major energy centers in our body, and there are also 72,000 nadis, spelled N-A-D-I-S, that are energy channels where this energy that is going through the major chakras is getting to every cell of our body. So it's a pretty integrated, vast system, energetic system. And even though you can't see the chakras on an X-ray, there is a certain type of photography called Kirlian photography. I think it's spelled K-I-R-L-I-A-N, I believe, that can actually show the chakras, or at least the aura and the different colors of the aura. At any rate, the importance of the chakras, of course, is to ensure that energy is readily flowing through them so that there's no blocks. And that's important because allowing energy to flow through them means that the physical body and the mental body and as well the spiritual aspects of ourselves are also kept healthy. So any disease starts at an energetic level, which is a very subtle level, and works its way to a grosser and grosser level, eventually getting to the physical form. So that's why it's important to work the chakras and to ensure that there's energy flow through them so that that energetic system is healthy and enabling, therefore, the health of the physical body and the mental body as well. So the second chakra then, each chakra has a gland, element, and a mantra, and a thought current associated with it. So the gland for the second chakra is the testes in men and the ovaries in women. The element is water, and the mantra is VAM, V-A-M, V as in Victor. And the thought current is fear. So fear will block or shut down the second chakra. So let's talk a little bit about what fear is. One definition that I like to work with is often when we utter words, when we say, here's what I'm going to do, there's that little nagging voice, that small little voice, and sometimes it's bigger than smaller, but there's that small voice or large voice that sits inside of us that kind of makes fun or mocks or doesn't believe that we can really do what we say we want to do. And that little voice is really the aspect of fear that I'm getting at with respect to this second chakra. So whenever we make words, whenever we utter any words or make plans, there's that small part of us that will mock and make fun. And that mockery is sort of a hangover of fear. It's that hangover of, can I really do what it is that I think and say that I'm going to do? It really is a type of integrity issue, if you will, that comes to play. So I'm going to define a couple things. When we talked about the root chakra, we talked about, honoring the words that we speak and keeping commitments with the words that we speak to ourselves and to others as well, and completing with any words that we have spoken that we don't intend to follow through on. So really having integrity with what we think and what we say and what we do. And so that's sort of the chain of integrity. We think something, we say, we follow through and do with action. So out of integrity then means not honoring the words and thoughts that you have given to yourself and others. And that's the block of the root chakra. That's why in order to enable the root chakra to heal, it's really important to be honoring those words and thoughts that we think to ourselves and that we speak to others, and following through on them, or bringing them to completion and saying, you know what, I can't follow through on this, so I'm completing with you on that. So that's the root chakra. This second chakra is being inauthentic with integrity. So there's a subtleness here that I'll explain what that really means. You know the experience when you say, I'm going to do something, and then you do it, but you kind of do a half-assed job, you know? Like you don't give it your all. That's what is called being inauthentic with integrity. You didn't bring your full, authentic self to the task. You kind of just haphazardly did the task. So the importance of this aspect of bringing authenticity to the words that we speak, and also the actions and the follow-through, is that every opportunity that shows up in life is an opportunity to expand. You know, whether it's expanding in our career, or expanding in how we take care of our health, or expanding in how we want to accumulate wealth and prosperity, or expanding how we want to be in relationships with ourselves and with others. So when we make a commitment, it's actually an opportunity to expand to our fullest capacity. And really, that's what life is offering us. That's what life is about, is expanding to our fullest possibility. So when we don't do that, we get this niggling feeling when we don't expand to our biggest possibility in each commitment that we make. Then we start to doubt that we can. We start to doubt that we can actually fulfill our commitments as we say we can, or as we think we can. So you begin to create, each time that we don't fulfill our commitments to the peak possibility, and not kind of haphazardly, but each time that we, fulfill them completely, we begin to build trust in our ability. Each time that we kind of, I'm going to, just kind of half-ass do the job, we begin to really doubt ourselves, and it creates an incompletion inside of us. And these incompletions begin to build and build and build until we have this sort of big chunk of fear each time that we make a commitment that we really can't follow through with it, and we really can't honor it. So I'm going to give you an example of what I mean, because there's kind of two things at play here. There's the way the head understands commitments, and there's the way that the heart understands commitments. Let's say if you commit to yourself, that's it. I'm going to bed every night at 10 p.m. because I just feel exhausted. I feel like I have no energy, so I'm going to go to bed at 10 p.m. And then you don't, okay? You see, the thing is that, let me jump to two examples and parallel them. So you make this commitment, you're going to go to bed at 10 p.m. and you don't. And then you make this commitment, I'm going to get a job that pays me more money. And logically, in the mind is able to put those things in relativity. The mind's able to say, well, if I start going to bed at 10 p.m. and it doesn't work, if I don't, see that increase in energy level, well, there's other things I can do. I know I can maybe eat, change my diet, or, change the people I'm hanging around with because maybe they're bringing me down, or, there's all sorts of other things. I can start an exercise program to give me more energy, and so on and so forth. So the mind is able to logic that if I don't follow through on my commitment of going to bed at 10 p.m., it doesn't mean I'm not following through on my commitment to have more energy. I may have just found another way to do that, like eating properly or exercising or whatever. And logically as well, the mind is, if we're going towards, finding a new job that pays us more money, the mind can understand, what am I making now in terms of money, and what's a new job offering? What kind of pay is a new job offering? So the mind's able to see that and understand it logically, and it understands that, hey, if I don't keep a commitment to go to bed at 10 p.m., I get it. I understand that because I'm going to do other things called change my diet, and if I follow through on this commitment to get a new job, I understand what it means to make more money because I can do a comparison about what a new job offers in terms of pay. And it understands the relative kind of importance, if you will, of that. It goes, well, it's really important for me to make more money, but it may not be as important for me to go to bed at 10 p.m. because I can do other things to get energy. Our mind can comprehend that. Our hearts can't. So what I mean by our hearts can't, our hearts see a commitment as a commitment as a commitment. It's like a rose is a rose is a rose. So even though our mind's able to logic, I'm okay if I don't keep my 10 p.m. bedtime because I'm now going to change my diet, the heart sees that I haven't met my commitment. I made a commitment and I didn't follow through. And it begins to hold that and create an insecurity about whether or not I can really keep my commitments. So it's quite a nuance, because the head is kind of a mastery of math, like I can logic this out, but the heart is more like a mystery of myth. So they deal with, your head and your heart deal with commitments in a different way. Logically, you might want to think, well, I can be 99.9% integrity, or I can be 80% integral. I can have integrity 80% of the time and still feel like I'm in integrity, that I'm meeting my commitments with everything I have. But your heart doesn't see it that way. It sees it that you're either in integrity and following through with your commitments and bringing your full self to every commitment, or you're not. And it kind of has it more black and white. So because of that, it begins to hold not fulfilling your commitments with all of yourself as a lack of inauthentic integrity. So it's a lot of words, and you might have to sort of listen to this one a few times to kind of catch the nuances of it. So when we look at healing the second chakra, what begins to heal it is really not just keeping our commitments, because that's what the first chakra was about. It was about speaking our commitments to ourselves and others and following through with them, just simply keeping the commitments and telling ourselves and others which ones we have no intention of keeping. This one is about not just keeping your commitments and completing the ones that you don't want, but it's stepping it up, and it's saying with every commitment that you make, give it your all. Don't just do sort of a half-assed job. Give it your all. Bring all of who you are, because that's what a commitment is. It's an opportunity to expand into everything that we can be. And so when we don't do that, it results in a block in the second chakra. So bringing all of ourselves to each of our commitment is the way, through physical action and words, that we begin to clear the second chakra.